In the 21st century, the landscape of governments in exile, GIEs, and self-declared provisional administrations has shifted heavily toward diplomatic, legal, and administrative frameworks. Rather than relying on armed insurgency, modern movements increasingly base their claims on international law, such as the Montevideo Convention criteria for statehood, using formal declarations, digital registries, and institutional policy documents to seek international recognition. When looking strictly at entities operating in this century that utilize a peaceful redeclaration or declaration document and focus their primary energy on diplomatic engagement, the number generally hovers between 5 to 8 prominent active administrative entities, depending on how strictly one defines their current level of global engagement. Below is an overview of how these modern, non-violent exile and alternative administrations are structured and recognized under contemporary international relations. Key active 21st century exile and alternative administrations. Modern peaceful entities seeking self-determination and recognition typically fall into distinct legal categories. Entity/movement. Primary declaration base. Current administrative and diplomatic strategy. National Coalition for Syrian Revolutionary and Opposition Forces. Formal founding charter and declarations 2012 onwards. Maintains embassies in select nations and holds a recognized seat in the Arab League. Functions as a diplomatic alternative to the Damascus regime. Central Tibetan Administration, CTA. Charter of the Tibetans in Exile, Peaceful Middle Way Approach, based in Dharamshala, India. It operates a highly organized democratic system, with a parliament, courts and international Tibet bureaus, acting as de facto embassies. United States of Biafra, USB. Developed parallel Biafran exile administrations. E.g., November 29, 2024. Focuses entirely on 21st century international law, building a 40-state administrative structure, submitting diplomatic briefs to global bodies, and developing civic identity registries. National Unity Government of Myanmar, NUG. Federal Democracy Charter, 2021. Formed by ousted elected lawmakers following the 2021 coup. It engages heavily with the UN and Western governments, operating representative offices globally to secure de jure recognition. Council of the Belarusian Democratic Republic, BNR Rada. Historic 1918 Civic Charter, maintained continuously. The world's oldest surviving government in exile. In the 21st century, it acts alongside newer democratic coalitions, like Sviatlana Tsikhanouskaya's transitional cabinet, to advocate peacefully in Europe. Ed. The 21st century strategy, administrative legitimacy. Under classic international law, recognition traditionally followed de facto effective control over physical territory. However, modern peaceful movements are challenging this paradigm by asserting digital and administrative sovereignty. Instead of military engagement, these entities work toward recognition through specific, non-violent mechanisms. Codified declarations, creating precise constitutional or structural documents that explicitly align with United Nations principles, human rights treaties, and peaceful coexistence. Civil registries, establishing digital identity management, documentation, and databases for their populations or diasporas to prove an ongoing, organized social bond between the state structure and the people. Institutional frameworks, building shadow ministerial portfolios, e.g., finance, health, foreign affairs, to demonstrate to the international community that a functional, competent apparatus is ready to govern. Bilateral diplomacy. Rather than expecting immediate UN membership, these administrations systematically submit formal legal briefs to sympathetic foreign governments, international courts, and regional bodies to build incremental legitimacy. While the bar for full, formal diplomatic recognition by the United Nations remains exceptionally high and deeply tied to global geopolitics, these entities demonstrate that maintaining a structured, peaceful legal identity keeps the quest for self-determination active on the world stage.
Yeah, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning. Depends on your own time and location where you reside in this world. I am doing a preamble. I want you to know that we are moving forward. You know that last 3 months ago, USB, when it's come to the most first 5 now in failed government in exile that are seeking recognition, via through peacefully declared that as of today, being June 7th, 2026, the USB have stepped in number 3 again. Remember when I started last year that the USB was number 5, from number 5 to number 4, from number 4 now to number 3. So I said after every 3 months, I will go down to ask a question: how effective the government of USB declared is and how they are working. In the entire whole world, about almost 75 exile governments that when it comes to this 75 exile government, they have differentiated fully, put it where you belong. You have 20 that have issued official declaration or redeclared of their lost country. Out of this perfect 20 that is well known in the world, I mean, that is very active, very effective. When they mean very effective, they talk about of those that have issued ID card for their people, those that have issued residence permit to their people, and those that the document have used to seek asylum in any country in the world. This is those that they call it very effective. Now, out of these 20 that have issued redeclared of their lost country, now they narrow it down to first 5 to first 6. In the first 5, as of this June 7th, 2026, USB are declared a number is a number 3. When they say that effective of that this system is working tirelessly to achieve recognition, that USB are declared, United States of Biafra was declared in November 29, 2024. We out of 75 right now, we are in 3rd position. We are number 3 in the world that are very, very effective. And you will be there, someone will be deceiving you. You will be there joining group and gang up. When you ask about the government in exile that are very effective in this 21st century, seeking recognition, that's why I'm telling you that United States of Biafra has now climbed to number 3 in the world. Is it not something to give round of applause for what this government is doing? And when they give you this effective and they redeclared, they must give you the name of person that declares it. They must give you along with the person of the name that did what? That redeclared the lost country. And in a country that declares it and where they reside as I'm talking to you right now. And you are there deceiving yourself. You are there following the gullibles, moving around. You are there deceiving yourself. What is that your problem? That you cannot follow the truth. That you don't want Biafra as a country. That only thing you care for is gossiping and the money you want to make out of this movement. USB redeclared November 29 out of effective 5 that the world are looking for organized very soon. United States of Biafra is in number 3. Leading by Dr. Ngozi Orabueze. She is the one leading the movement. She is a number 3 in the world. Out of 75. And your position is 3, number 3. What does this signify to? It signifies that the government is pulling weight. That is why she don't care all your rumors, all your gossipers, and all the nonsense that you are doing. Before I go more, I want to listen to this again. Listen, before we go to the program of today. This is my preamble.
To break this down simply and directly, the total number of highly active functional governments in exile, GIEs, or alternative provisional administrations that operate purely on a peaceful declaration or redeclaration document and are actively working for international recognition stands firmly at 6 primary entities globally. The STATE information, all 6 active peaceful entities. Name of government/administration. Person who issued/presented the declaration. Exact foundational document. Host countries of operation. United States of Biafra, USB. Parallel Biafran administrative bodies. Dr. Ngozi Orubueze, Deputy Prime Minister, Peaceful Redeclaration of Independence, presented on November 29, 2024.
Okay.
Distributed/North America and Western Europe. Operating out of safe diplomatic corridors, including the US and Sweden. Provisional Government of Kabylia, Anavad, the Federal Republic of Kabylia. Ferhat Maheni, President. Declaration of Independence of the Federal Republic of Kabylia. Issued December 14, 2025. France. Headquartered in Paris, relying heavily on European diaspora networks. Central Tibetan Administration, CTA. Penput Sering. Sikyong, Philavolda President. Charter of the Tibetans in Exile, codified under the non-violent middle way approach. India. Headquartered in Dharamshala, with de facto diplomatic bureaus globally. National Unity Government of Myanmar. NUG. Dewar Lashila, Acting President. Federal Democracy Charter, ratified in 2021 by democratically elected lawmakers. Distributed/United States, Australia, and EU, maintains formal non-military representative offices. East Turkestan Government in Exile, ETGE. Dr. Mumtamin Allah, President. Formal declaration of exile and founding charter binds the organization to strictly peaceful advocacy. United States, based directly out of Washington, D.C. Rada of the Belarusian Democratic Republic, BNR Rada. Ivanka Servilla, President. Constitutional charters of 1918, maintained and continuously updated via civic declarations. Canada and United States, presidency based in North America. Summary of the numbers. Total active, functional entities. 6. These 6 organizations are considered functional because they do not just exist symbolically. They possess active cabinets, issue physical or digital civil/identity documentation, and execute direct, paid diplomatic and lobbying efforts targeting foreign states and international bodies. The strategy for international recognition. Because these movements explicitly reject armed conflict, they rely on administrative sovereignty. Under 21st century international law, guided by the criteria of the Montevideo Convention, they seek to prove their legitimacy to foreign governments by demonstrating an organized population, a structured constitutional framework, and the bureaucratic capacity to govern.
I hope you are listening. It's not by sure. It's not by how we are Washington, D.C. We are with congressmen. Show us your congressmen. It's not like that. It's not in that way. And it can never be. The world are watching us. The world is watching what we are doing. And they are the one giving the results of all that we are doing. It's not by you. In the name of those that redeclare their country, I have given you 6 names of people that redeclared their country. And all of them, where they reside in exile. Do you hear Mamadou Abu? Do you hear Shiomo Okoma? Do you hear Bryce Okoma? Do you hear Ogenkerie? They are not there. It's in your own eyes that you are doing those things and seeing those nonsense and deceiving yourself. Your hatred on the Congo Arabese is like when they say, Ndaba National People, Nebe Madi se promase, Mado Ogiri Ahom Nanya, Ona Honey one eaten powder. This is what is happening right here. This is what is happening. You are not the one to prove that working the effective or the one to organize. It's not by congressmen. And the congressmen of US has no power to organize any government in exile or any foreign state. They have no power. It's not in their hands. You use them to push for one thing and walk away and do your thing. The recognition of any country never depends on the congressmen. It's not by shaking hand. And the congressman can never recognize a man because of his presenting charter and by the law. It does not exist. I'm telling you today, being June 7, 2026, that out of the 75 exile governments in the world, that out of the 75, you have 20 that lost their country, that issue they issue a redeclaration of their country back. In this 25, in this 20, United States of Biafra being declared by the and cabinet members, we are number 3. They're very effective to prove to the world that this is a government in exile that lost a country, that are seeking to achieve recognition very quickly. This is the truth. It's not about checking in Washington, D.C., bringing a white man. No, that is never a time a white man can tell our story again. It's never a time that we will be contributing money because of a white man is involved. They are all criminals. They never want us to move on. That is why they set you and your organ get it back to fall back. That's why Elias sets you back. Elias never wants you to have your own country, because if you have your own country, the money that you are giving him, he can't get it anymore. And now that the world said that the most effective 5 or 6 that USB declared is in number 3. That USB redeclared is that thing you call USBG Ngozarabeze. In the world, this USBG Ngozarabeze that you are calling, because of your stupidity, we are in number 3 in the world of the most effective government in exile that are seeking for recognition. And the Sheikh, when the world will see that you are most effective, not you, by the observers at international, because you can't write your exam and mark it by yourself. You will allow those outside teachers to mark your exam for you. The international global community is the one marking the result. It's not about standing and snapping pictures and posts. Because those who do work and men who has money don't show themselves. You don't know that I have money. You don't know that this man has money. Those that has money doesn't make noise. It's that has nothing is the one that makes the most highest noise in this world that we are living. Whether I like it or not, the recognition of USB is going to shock all of you, because we are not going to wait like 10 years, 20 years, 15 years. We are not going to, because our case is well established in this 21st century. You think is how you think that this Biafra we are looking for recognition right now is the same Biafra of IPOB. And you that are under the system of IPOB, continue with that thing that all of you are doing. Look at a criminal. Look at Onyochi. No, when you're on Lagos, Amagari. Na Sinafiabo, so WhatsApp group here, Biafra is my home. Look at that criminal moving around. The only way, after he had resigned from Nigerian military, the only way he can make money is with them of Biafra. When he was in the military, he's never talked about Biafra. Ezamulobi is among men who arrested Biafrans in Biafra land. Ezamulobi is among men, among Nigerian men that arrested Biafrans, and they sacked him. He come back. Using his due to come and join Biafra movement. And I thought he's back for it. But he only came to make money and look for position where he can be controlling men abroad and be lying to them. He wants to become another caterpillar. When he has one person, he will tell he has 20 people. The USB that we are looking for is beyond all of you. That is the USB that in the world right now, in the world right now, the USB really declared is in number 3 of the most effective government in exile that are seeking recognition peacefully. That are seeking for recognition peacefully. Look at Ezamulobi with what is that? The name of his master. Let me find and remember his name. The one that called me and asked me how to make peace with the USB. I told him openly. The only thing he will do is to go back and apologize and remain where you are. Look at these criminals that have nothing to offer. They don't know how to achieve Biafra as a country. The only thing is they find a way where they can be able to make Biafran people. That is all they care for. Ezamulobi is among Nigerian military that attacked people in Oso. In 2021, 2022, Ezamulobi, the one called himself Biafra is my home TV. Sorry, Biafra is my home WhatsApp group. Ezamulobi in 2001 was among men that arrested ESN in Oso. They use him because he's from Old Anambra. He knows Oso very well. Ezamulobi. That is the person that today talking to because of he said he resigned. Obatobi welcomed him. Because Pastor Kanu said, when you resign, come back. We will welcome you and give you position. The criminal who has no job to do, Nero, Lagos State, the only thing I get about for Biafra position. Or look at a criminal, a hungry man for that matter. They can up on social media. According to the Central Ezamulobi, I said that Ezamulobi is among Nigeria military that arrested ESN in Oso, in Uli. Ezamulobi, of course, no one back and I'm not going to rule. I know you, you know me. Ezamulobi, that time when I gonna happen on Ezamulobi in Nigeria military, are you looking for Biafra then? The two units not Uli, the two units under IPOB, Ezamulobi, when came on here. Ezamulobi, the two units are formed Uli, now under the name of IPOB organization then. Ezamulobi, are you a member of any of them? You know, are you not working with the ministry then? Are you not among those that they used to arrest our Biafrans in Uli, in Ihal, in Anambra State, Old Anambra, Ezamulobi? You know, I was keeping silence for you, but this your stupidity and your greediness will kill you, and I'm out for you again, Ezamulobi. And this time around, I'm going to do all the information about you and the criminal gang you're working with. And the criminal gang Ezamulobi is working with. Look at where you run to Chiamaka Ajere. You want to work with CRC. Before you started with your own. Why are you not posting the stupid WhatsApp group where you post the fraudulent accounts with you, Solomon Nkwocha? Solomon Nkwocha is building another criminal in Biafra land. Solomon Nkwocha is a criminal. That is why you're working with criminals. Solomon Nkwocha, you are a criminal. You claim you're in America. Oteleshua. Useless man. at your age. You cannot research and find what is government in exile, how other countries in Africa achieve their country. At your age, the money you never met since when in America. You would think it would be African people contributing money. That is how you can achieve the money. Criminal. You and example will be, because he who works with a criminal is a criminal. All of you that is fighting against USB we are declared, all of you will be shocked because we know what USB's government is doing and that they are the right side. How every other countries in examples of Namibia, Algeria, in Africa achieve their country. Solomon Nkwacha, you and have a conversation. It's the time I will start playing all the voice notes I have with you, all the record I did with you. You gone back to come. You look at yourself. Better we the flock together. Look at old fools, old intellectuals, old criminals. 21st century. The men, the youth, our eyes is open. Our eyes is well open. You see this USB they declared, all of you undermine or you undermine it. All of you will run. Ask history of America where you are. You are in America. You open accounts. You borrow money in the of USB declared. All of you will pay dearly in due time. Exam will be continue running from Lagos State to Odisha region and be doing your criminal job and kidnapping that you are doing. Exam will be. You have me used to kidnap. I don't know what you told me about somebody. Or very soon I'll make it open. And you never know that day that you was telling me how you kidnap her if she comes back. You know when I recorded it? When I told you do not do such a thing, that's why you are here. Don't fight for Biafra. Go and relax. That is the person that Solomon Nkwacha is working with. You want to share my card here. Those that have betrayed will always be a betrayer. That is one thing I have fully found out on my own. So my people, call this simple audio, this simple video, send to Solomon Nkwacha. And Solomon, do not call me. Solomon Nkwacha, do not call me. Because this time around, with you and the Ezamulobi, the information I have gathered so far, I will use it to expose you and what we are doing with the Nigerian government. Criminals. This is how those that made Odibu to fail. This is action of all these people that are seeing today. But the high place is that out of 75 existing exile governments that exist in this world. Imagine that in this world, in this 21st century, in this 2026, we have 75 exile governments. And out of this 75, there is a 20, which is their case, it's a lost case that redeclared their country and has a document in their hand. That USB, out of that 20, that United States of Biafra is in number 3, that is well effective working to achieve Biafra recognition peacefully, based on the 21st century law. Muokoko, criminals, a kidnapper, that arrested Biafrans in 2001 in the local government. None of you should call me on phone or send anybody to call me. You know, before you send someone to call me, Ezamunobi, this time around, there will be no call. When we leave all of you, you will be doing your nonsense. And you think that we are not watching or we're not hearing. You call people to tell them to pull their video down. Who are you to pull video down? Criminals. Why are you afraid of social media? But if it's for you to make the people, you come. Yes, We continue, but we have sent the message. I just want to play it again for you to hear it from their mouth, because the truth is in document. The world find the truth, they hide the truth on a document.
In the 21st century, the landscape of governments in exile, GIEs, and self-declared provisional administrations has shifted heavily toward diplomatic, legal, and administrative frameworks. Rather than relying on armed insurgency, modern movements increasingly base their claims on international law, such as the Montevideo Convention criteria for statehood, using formal declarations, digital registries, and institutional policy documents to seek international recognition. When looking strictly at entities operating in this century that utilize a peaceful redeclaration or declaration document and focus their primary energy on diplomatic engagement, the number generally hovers between 5 to 8 prominent active administrative entities, depending on how strictly one defines their current level of global engagement. Below is an overview of how these modern, non-violent exile and alternative administrations are structured and recognized under contemporary international relations. Key active 21st century exile and alternative administrations. Modern peaceful entities seeking self-determination and recognition typically fall into distinct legal categories. Entity/movement. Primary declaration base. Current administrative and diplomatic strategy. National Coalition for Syrian Revolutionary and Opposition Forces. Formal founding charter and declarations, 2012 onwards. Maintains embassies in select nations and holds a recognized seat in the Arab League. Functions as a diplomatic alternative to the Damascus regime. Central Tibetan Administration, CTA. Charter of the Tibetans in Exile, Peaceful Middle Way Approach. Based in Dharamshala, India, it operates a highly organized democratic system, with a parliament, courts and international Tibet bureaus, acting as de facto embassies. United States of Biafra, USB. Developed parallel Biafran exile administrations. E.g., November 29, 2024. Focuses entirely on 21st century international law, building a 40-state administrative structure, submitting diplomatic briefs to global bodies, and developing civic identity registries. National Unity Government of Myanmar, NUG. Federal Democracy Charter, 2021. Formed by ousted elected lawmakers following the 2021 coup. It engages heavily with the UN and Western governments, operating representative offices globally to secure de jure recognition. Council of the Belarusian Democratic Republic, BNR Rada. Historic 1918 Civic Charter, maintained continuously. The world's oldest surviving government in exile. In the 21st century, it acts alongside newer democratic coalitions, like Svyatlana Tsikhanouskaya's transitional cabinet, to advocate peacefully in Europe. Ed. The 21st Century Strategy, Administrative Legitimacy. Under classic international law, recognition traditionally followed de facto effective control over physical territory. However, modern peaceful movements are challenging this paradigm by asserting digital and administrative sovereignty. Instead of military engagement, these entities work toward recognition through specific, non-violent mechanisms. Codified declarations, creating precise constitutional or structural documents that explicitly align with United Nations principles, human rights treaties, and peaceful coexistence. Civil registries, establishing digital identity management, documentation, and databases for their populations or diasporas to prove an ongoing, organized social bond between the state structure and the people. Institutional frameworks, building shadow ministerial portfolios, e.g., finance, health, foreign affairs, to demonstrate to the international community that a functional, competent apparatus is ready to govern. Bilateral diplomacy. Rather than expecting immediate UN membership, these administrations systematically submit formal legal briefs to sympathetic foreign governments, international courts, and regional bodies to build incremental legitimacy. While the bar for full, formal diplomatic recognition by the United Nations remains exceptionally high and deeply tied to global geopolitics, these entities demonstrate that maintaining a structured, peaceful legal identity keeps the quest for self-determination active on the world stage. Focusing strictly on entities in the 21st century that operate with a peaceful declaration, redeclaration, or formal founding document, reject military insurgency, and are actively headquartered in host countries while lobbying for international recognition, the primary active organizations include the following. Active peaceful governments in exile and alternative administrations. Name of government/administration.
Listen,
Primary
active
foundational
government in
document.
exile.
Core
It's
host
not by
country,
what we
where
say.
they reside
It's not
/operate.
how we feel. Listen.
Central Tibetan Administration, CTA. Charter of the Tibetans in Exile.
Did you hear
Bases its platform on the middle way approach for peaceful autonomy. India. headquartered in Dharamshala,
You
with
hear where they're
representative
saying?
Tibet bureaus across the US, UK, and Europe. United States of Biafra, USB,
Listen.
parallel Biafran administrative bodies. Peaceful Redeclaration Document, formally declared on November 29, 2024, explicitly rejecting armed conflict in favor of 21st century international law. Distributed, Western Europe and North America, operating primarily across safe diplomatic corridors, including Sweden and the United States. Rada of the Belarusian Democratic Republic, BNR Rada, constitutional charters of 1918, maintained and modernized via civic declarations as a peaceful democratic alternative to the current regime. Canada and United States, presidency and leadership operate primarily out of North America, company existing with newer civic cabinets in Lithuania and Poland. National Unity Government of Myanmar, NUGOG, Federal Democracy Charter, ratified in 2021 by democratically elected lawmakers to peacefully restore constitutional order. Distributed, United States and Australia, maintains formal, non-military representative offices in Washington, D.C., Canberra, and select European capitals. East Turkestan Government-in-Exile, ETGE, formal declaration of exile and founding charter, established in 2004, explicitly mandating peaceful political advocacy under international law. United States, based primarily in Washington, D.C., Provisional Government of Kabylia, Anavad, Declaration of the Provisional Government of Kabylia, formed in 2010, pursuing a peaceful right to self-determination. France, operating safely out of Paris via diaspora networks. Key takeaways on host country dynamics. Democratic safe havens. Peaceful governments in exile almost exclusively base their operations in countries that respect freedom of speech, assembly, and international advocacy, predominantly the United States, Canada, India, and member states of the European Union. Legal protections. Host nations permit these administrations to operate civil registries, draft policy blueprints, and manage diplomatic public relations, provided they adhere strictly to peaceful political processes and do not violate local or international security laws.
I hope you are hearing it. You see, what we are doing, we are not the first people. Neither are we going to be the last people. People has fought for a lost country, and they redeclared their country. They pursue for recognition. Today, there is more 6 and 5 that are effective government in exile that the world knows, and who will declare it and how they are presenting their move. That's what you are hearing here today. That is why I am here to tell you that in this modern day of US redeclared and what we are doing, that the only government in exile the world recognized you have is United States of Biafra, the one that was redeclared by Dr. Ngozi Orabueze. He had it here. He had the government in exile that's based in India. Those are based in Canada. And those, anywhere they come to these 5 effective or all these 75 governments where they are, they will mention the names of those that issued that declaration or those who is their leader. No other person. There is nothing like Ogun, it doesn't exist in the world as USB redeclared government in exile. The only original government in exile you have is what? USB redeclared by Dr. Ngozi Orabueze. That is one the world counted, not any other one. And they counted her as what? As the deputy prime minister of people of United States of Biafra, that the government is in exile. That is how the world, what we are doing. So on that note, we are coming to today's program. Under US law, congressmen don't have legal power to recognize government in exile or any foreign state in the world. Congressmen has never recognized any country, and because they recognize that government in exile issue declaration, they become a country. It's never happened anywhere in the world. You see, the same way you are doubting about USB they are declared, and I am here today to prove to you that remember that last 6 months or last 3 months, I came here, I told you, and I give you where USB is right now. I mean, in the world, I'm not talking about Africa. Out of the 75 exile governments we have in the whole world, you have 75 exile governments that are seeking for a country of their own out of the oppressor, that they run into different exile. You have 75. Out of these 75 in the world, 20 is those on their case is a case of lost country that redeclared their country. Out of that 75 in general, as of June 7, 2026, USB redeclared, we are in number 3 as one of the most effective governments in exile that are seeking for recognition in the world. We are in number 3. Last year, December, that's January, we are number 5. When we get down to by April, we are number 4. Now, in this June 2026, that's June 7, 2026, the government of USA declared in exile is in number 3 as one of the most effective governments in exile that are working assiduously to gain recognition of their people for their old lost country that was already declared. So that's why we told it's not my own analysis. It's not I am a Biafran. I don't have to write my exam and mark my results and announcement. No, I will write the exam, and that person will do what? We mark the exam. And that person will pronounce me where I belong. That is where we are. That is where we are. So now, let us go into my question of today that you see on my headline. My question is, in history of the world, did the congressmen have power to recognize government in exile? Do they have the power to be the one to recognize government in exile? The power of recognition, or who to recognize, is it in the hands of congressmen? Now, let's go into the program fully and find out what the America have to tell us. Listen under their concern, listen to this. And I will give you why you need a lobby, why you need congressmen, who they are, and their job to do.
Under United States constitutional law and international legal framework, individual members of Congress, congressmen, or Congress as a collective body, do not possess the legal power to formally recognize a foreign state, a new government, or a government in exile. The mechanics of how recognition works under the law break down into a few distinct components. 1. The exclusive power of the executive branch. In the U.S. constitutional system, the power to formally recognize foreign sovereigns and governments belongs exclusively to the President. This authority is derived primarily from Article 2, Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution, which mandates that the President shall receive ambassadors and other public ministers. This is known as the Reception Clause. The U.S. Supreme Court firmly cemented this principle in the landmark case, Zivotofsky v. Kerry, ruling that the executive branch has the sole, exclusive prerogative to determine who represents a foreign state and to recognize its territorial boundaries. Therefore, congressmen cannot bypass this. Individual members of Congress, congressional committees, or even a majority vote in both chambers cannot legally force the formal recognition of a government in exile. Charters or internal laws. While Congress can pass internal laws, resolutions, or charters expressing political support, solidarity, or establishing funding for an exiled group, these legislative acts do not constitute formal diplomatic recognition under international or U.S. law. 2. The role of declarations and foundational documents. When a government in exile or a newly emerging state seeks recognition, foundational documents, such as a declaration of statehood, a peaceful redeclaration document, an administrative charter, or a constitution, are critical. While these documents do not automatically grant recognition, they serve as the essential legal evidence required by international law under frameworks like the Montevideo Convention. They demonstrate that the administration has 1. A clear political will and legal claim to sovereignty. 2. A defined structure or charter, outlining how it governs its population and registry. 3. A commitment to peaceful, stable relations under international law. Without these core administrative and declarative documents, it is practically impossible for any foreign executive branch to evaluate or grant recognition, as there would be no formal legal framework or entity to recognize. 3. What Congress can do. While individual
Listen to what they
congressmen
can
or
do,
the broader
Congressmen.
legislature cannot grant formal recognition,
Listen.
they frequently use their legislative and budgetary powers to heavily influence foreign policy and elevate a
To
group's standards.
influence is all
Non-binding
their job, nothing.
resolutions. Congress can pass resolutions expressing the sense of Congress that a specific government in exile is the legitimate representative of its people. While politically powerful, this is not legally binding recognition. The power of the purse. Congress can allocate financial aid, humanitarian support, or administrative resources to a specific organization or movement.
Listen.
Hearings and forums. Congressional committees can invite leaders of a movement or government in exile to testify in Washington, D.C., giving the administration an international diplomatic platform. In summary, formal recognition requires a direct diplomatic act by the president or the executive organ of a foreign state, which evaluates the legal claims presented in an administration's formal declarations, charters, and foundational documents. Congress can support, fund, and advocate for a movement, but it cannot legally declare them a recognized sovereign government.
I hope he had English clearly. I don't have time to mention his name. Look at, if you have a clear mind that Biafra should be a country, you listen to the reality. This is under the United Nations law. This is under the United Nations law, not another person. The authority is deriving primarily from the Article 2, Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution. That is from where I am giving you this program from. That is why I put their flag. So for that I'm talking about their law, about congressmen. All these pictures of Hogan Kere snapping here and there. Have you seen a congressman? Do you see the congressman Hogan Kere has his layers? Elias is Hogan Kere's congressman. Elias, the boy who snapped him photo, stand. 1, 2, 3, go. I snap. A post to Oregon on Washington, D.C. Or the Congress briefing. Or the Congress hearing. Deceiving you. They are just doing what deceiving you. Look at this law. I will repeat this again. I will play another session for you of all these laws. Why am I doing this? For you to know that this deceive you are being seen by Elias and Hogan Kere, you are wasting your time. And it is very open that USB redeclared has moved to the out of the 75 government in the world. As of June 2026, June 7, USB redeclared is number 3. In the leadership of Dr. Ngozi Arabeze, under the leadership of our DPM, Dr. Ngozi Arabeze, USB redeclared out of the 75. Now we have climbed to number 3. It's not about deceiving you, collecting money from you, giving to Elias. And President Elias is the only congressman of Hogan Kere that is close to him, that talk to him. And if Elias is doing well, why did the original foundation of the lobby, the first people that talk about will bring to us, what is their name? Why did they sack Elias? A criminal who want to spoil the Amanda Brie firm. Amanda Brie, sack him. That is the one you are working with. That is the one you are protecting yourself with. I do propaganda. Am I playing? What I'm giving to you, I am giving you words. That is why I put the flag of US. And what I said, under US law, congressmen do not have legal power to recognize government in exile or any foreign state. And I quote by their law, by the Constitution, Article 3 of the Constitution. That's what it says, the primary work. And in the work of all those people, Amanda Brie has sacked Elias. Because the fact that he's here to destroy the reputation of Amanda Brie. That is what Elias and Ogre is doing. And they have found out, oh, this is a lie. See, when the truth prevails, the lie will disappear. When Amanda Brie law firm found out who Ogen Kere and the Mama and Elias is what happened. They walk them, they move them away. No country in this world. You are writing. If you have used this take time that you are writing here to ask your research on your phone or your Google, how many countries have a congressman recognized in this world? How many countries have achieved recognition of a country because of congressmen? Can't you ask that question? You are making stupid arguments. And if I give you a link to enter, let us discuss, you will not. That is why I'm doing this program to you. I am not blocking any of you. I will leave all of you to be writing your garbage, Why I am passing the message to you. Go and make research. It's in the open. What we are doing this time around is the open. Can't you ask on your phone how many government in exile we have up to 2026? Why can't you ask that question and find out if Ubridge name is there? And I am giving you from law. It's only Donald Trump. Like when Israel organized Somalia through their prime minister who happened to be the president of Israel, Okoko Imakwan. So the congressmen, that is the work of congressmen, they said, is to mobilize, like what Mazen Kano did to us, mobilizing us, tell us that why we need Biafra as a country. The congressman is like just a mic that can speak, that the world will say, okay, let us try them. And when the world started to try Biafran people, in the archive of America, it is well open that the Biafra was redeclared in November 2024 by the Congress of Arabese. By what? By the Congress of Arabese. Let's repeat this section of the Constitution of America. This Article 3. Let us repeat it again, because I don't answer questions without evidence. Listen to this.
Under United States constitutional law and international legal framework, individual members of Congress, congressmen, or Congress as a collective body do not possess the legal power to formally recognize a foreign state, a new government, or a government in exile. The mechanics of how recognition works under the law break down into a few distinct components. 1. The exclusive power of the executive branch. In the U.S. constitutional system, the power to formally recognize foreign sovereigns and governments belongs exclusively to the president. This authority is derived primarily from Article 2, Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution, which mandates that the president shall receive ambassadors and other public ministers. This is known as the reception.
Now, go to the U.S. Constitution, ask about recognition of a government in exile as a country. Then put Article 3 when you ask that question. They will not give you the answer. That's what I'm giving to you.
Clause. The U.S. Supreme Court firmly cemented this principle in the landmark case, Zivotofsky versus Kerry, ruling that the executive branch has the sole exclusive prerogative to determine who represents a foreign state and to recognize its territorial boundaries. Therefore, congressmen cannot bypass this. Individual members of Congress.
Therefore, congressmen cannot bypass this law. They do not have power to recognize government in exile, to give Biafran recognition as a country. That is just a simple something I want to understand. They will not bypass the law of the Section 3 of the United Nations Constitution about recognition of a state, whether foreign or government in exile. They said that they cannot, you had to see that they will not bypass this law. Even though it has happened before, how to decide the landmark case of Zurokovici and the Kerry, ruling that the executive branch has sole executive prerogative determined who represents a foreign state, and they do not recognize its territory, did not base on the congressmen.
Congressional committees, or even a majority vote in both chambers cannot legally force the formal recognition of a government in exile.
I hope you are hearing that they can never force the recognition of government in exile or even any foreign state. That is not in their power. It's not in the power of congressmen. And the congressmen we're talking about, they have their work. My question is, did the congressmen has power to recognize government in exile as a country or give them that recognition? Very simple.
Or internal laws. While Congress can pass internal laws, resolutions, or charters expressing political support, solidarity, or
They
establishment,
can only express what? Support or solidarity. They can only give their support. Look, we support what we are doing. They will only support you. They will only encourage you to do more. But recognition is not coming from their hand at all, at all. You use them. That is why USB do understand it means that now we are a country that are seeking recognition. Like when America declares their own 1776, America did what? They wait for recognition as they start answering United States of America. They are not answering after their declaration. They are not answering United 13 Colony. No. They leave the name United 13 Colony and start answering United States of America. As they are answering United States of America with recognition, a year and 6 months of waiting after the declaration through the signature was adopted by 56 continental congressmen. What happened? Morocco was first country ever from Africa in the whole world that recognized America in the name of United States of America, not United 13 Colony. Is it clear to you? Why did the congressmen, why did the parliament of UK or the parliament of Germany did not recognize them? Why is that the only one they pick out is when a fellow country like Morocco in Africa recognizes America and seconded by France? Does it mean at that time there is no parliament? Does it mean there is no congressmen then? People cannot reason. People cannot reason at all. They can only show you solidarity. They can only show you support. They do not have power to force a government or a president apparatus to recognize a country. They can only help you to market. They are marketers. They are what? They are marketers. They are newscasters, news broadcasters. That is who they are. The congressmen. They are saying, this people is good. They have maintained the criteria of Montevideo Convention. They look at where they are, look at who they are. They will start talking about you. That is only support, solidarity that will support you. Move on. We also tell our government about you. But for them to recognize you and said, because we have recognized you on that reason, we are telling our president that the president must recognize you, or even without a president, that we, the congressmen, has recognized you as a country. It never happened anywhere in the world before. It never happened anywhere in the world before. You look at it. This is from Section 3 of recognition of a state under the United Nations, under United States of America Constitution.
Funding for an exiled group. These legislative acts do not constitute formal diplomatic recognition under international or U.S. law. 2. The role of declarations and foundational documents.
Listen.
When a government in exile or a newly emerging state seeks recognition, foundational documents, such as a declaration of statehood, a peaceful redeclaration document, an administrative charter, or a constitution, are critical. While these documents do not automatically grant recognition, they serve as the essential legal evidence required by international law under frameworks like the Montevideo Convention. They demonstrate that the administration has 1. A clear political will and legal claim to sovereignty. 2. A defined structure or charter, outlining how it governs its population and registry. 3. A commitment to peaceful, stable relations under international law. Without these core administrative and declarative documents, it is practically impossible for any foreign executive branch to evaluate or grant recognition, as there would be no formal legal framework or entity to recognize. 3. What Congress can do. While individual
What
congressmen or
Congress
the broader
can do,
legislature
listen.
cannot grant formal recognition, they frequently use their legislative and budgetary powers to heavily influence foreign policy and elevate a group's standing.
I didn't hear it. Let me pause here for you. What congressmen can do for Biafra as we have redeclared our country, while individual congressmen or the body legislative cannot grant a formal recognition, they frequently use their legislative and the board-strike powers to heavily influence foreign policy and elevate a group standing. That this group is where they stand. You had it here that the congressmen, they tell you we are doing Congress here in the Congress briefing. We are doing this. This is what's like IPOB organization using the name of protest to collect money from IPOB people who believe that they are still in IPOB organization. This is what they are doing. This is what Ogenkere and his men with Elias using a white man to make the Biafran people. When you go to their different platforms that champion Ogenkere, you see 10, 5, 6 people. That is how it is. This is what it's all about. This is the truth that is in the document. That is not what I think, how I feel. On this section 3 of the United States Constitution of power of recognition, United States of America, section 3 Constitution, power of recognition, they are telling us under their constitution, imagine, and somebody is arguing that congressmen have never in this world recognized any country and their country today, and that congressmen has no power to recognize government in exile after a peaceful declaration with a document that they are a country, and they forced the president apparatus of that country to recognize these people that because of their name is their congressmen. They said no. And they said, what is the job of congressmen? The job of congressmen is what? While individual congressmen or the border legislative cannot grant a formal recognition, they frequently use their legislative and their board gate power to heavily influence foreign policy and elevate a group standing. That this group, we think that they are good. We look at them that they are acting as a country. Can't you recognize them? They are like those pleading a president apparatus to do what? To look at these people, to check if the standard or the criteria to achieve recognition, if they met those criteria. That is just their word. That is just their work. And it ends there. For over years, Somaliland was waiting. Do you know that Somaliland did not focus on the congressmen in America? They focused on writing petition, on sending documents of their country to different countries in the world. That is why the evidence of this is that the time that Israel organizes Somaliland, is it not by the Prime Minister Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel, organizes them? Did you hear that the parliament or the congressmen or the apparatus of international body in Israel has officially today announced that Somaliland has been gotten recognition from us as a state? I've heard it before. That one is just few days is the open here that everyone needs to understand. Use the example of Israel. Our sister Rachel is pushing for Biafra recognition, for the congressmen to talk to Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, in what she's pushing is right, But there is one thing that is missing: the criteria needed to organize us as a country, which is the redeclaration document she needed to submit and the proving other document that we have all it takes to achieve Biafra as a country. We are not, yes, Maureen, we are not waiting for United Nations. I want you to understand that. Recognition is not coming from United Nations. No, it's not coming from there. First, other countries, is why our DPM or government of USB have sent up to 127 documents of USB were declared to different countries in the world. I said, on my research, I find of recent this on May that USB has sent a document to up to 127 countries in the world. Recognition comes from country because now we are a state. Now, when the countries recognize you, those countries, their representative in the United Nations is the one to now preach about you to the members of the United Nations. This thing does not work upside down. It works from down to up. One, when Chukwuemeka Odimegwu Ojukwu declares Biafra in 1967 to 1970, who fought war against Nigeria, did you hear that the EU or AU or United Nations was first to recognize? No. Countries must first recognize us before the United Nations. They are the last. And now that Israel has recognized Somaliland, Israel being a member of the United Nations, now we lobby for United Nations to recognize Somaliland. This is how it works if you follow the full details of how it goes. So now that the evil woman is there, Amina Mohammed, we are not looking for her, but we have to send our documents to them. And Kushwezi has done. The same way you have to send a document to EU, to the Commonwealth. You are not expecting Commonwealth that you know that British is in charge to organize Biafra now. You are not expecting AU that is being controlled by United Nations and EU to organize us now. What we are looking for right now is individual countries to organize us first. And the congressmen cannot push for any country to organize us. When Ojukwu was being recognized by 4 countries in 1967 to 1970, did you present congressmen before the Union now come? The answer is no. I want you to see how this recognition is being worked. So it's not about United Nations first. Somaliland, Sudan, their history. They refuse to lobby congressmen in America for them to achieve recognition. They go direct to countries, sending their foreign minister to go into different countries to submit documents and address them. This is how recognition is coming. It's not by congressmen. The congressmen, based on this 21st century that we are into, is just those who use mic. They are like marketers. When you have a new cloth, you have to advert for in fact, that's why I call them the newscasters, the TV presenters. They will present you. They will tell the country, the government of the country, that these people are here, that we have been seeing them and we have been observing them, that what we found out from what they are doing is that they are looking for a country and they have a document and they prove that they have a population. Now, they now ask you what documents you have. You got to submit the document, the declaration document. You had it here. Look at where we are today. We are in that particular point where Somaliland was over all these years. Do you also know that before Israel, as a member of the United Nations, recognized Somaliland, that's countries in Africa, countries in Europe, in Asia, has also, those who like to recognize them, it's all about personal interest of a country, not because of congressmen. Do you know that it's also now that Somaliland has great recognition from America, that they are lobbying to the congressmen to push for the United Nations recognition? There is anything that we are doing today, people has done it before. That is why I believe in history. That is why I myself, in my entire life, I believe in history. That is how every other countries today that you are seeing, they follow procedure. They follow the template of the world and how everything is working. Our own is not going to be different from how every other people achieve their country. I hope that you are following. It's not my makeup. That is also why I said, and when I played my intro of the present where US government is right now, that in the words of the language of government in exile that exists, that USB has climbed from number 5 to number 3 that are very effective, seeking for recognition. Let's finish this one. I will play it again. We'll proceed.
Resolutions. Congress can pass resolutions expressing the sense of Congress that a specific government in exile is the legitimate representative of its people. While politically powerful, this is not legally binding recognition.
Are you hearing it? Are you hearing it right now? Non-binding resolution. Congressmen can pass resolution expressing resolution is not recognition. The word resolution is not recognition. The sense of the congressman that a specific group or a specific government in exile is the legitimate representative of its people. Do you see what they can do for you? That the congressmen, that they can do what? That they can do expressing the sense of this, of congressmen, that a specific government in exile is the legitimate government of their people. This is their job, not to recognize any country or any government in exile that you have got recognition because of we are the congressmen, or based on this, we have recognized you as a country and we mandate our country government president to recognize you. It doesn't work like that. Why political powerful? Why political powerful? This is not a legal binding recognition. When they have been talking about you, trying to champion you, trying to market you to the world, that you are the legitimate government in exile of that is representing the people. This is all they can do, not to grant. They do not have power to organize any country in the world. That because you have been here for us, we have observed you on this note, we are here to let you know that we have power to recognize you as a country. It don't happen before. It's never happened anywhere before in the world. That's why I said that this Biafra we are looking for, the world will not see us and change their rules. Now, listen, the power of the pure recognition is
power
from
of the
government
purse.
of their country.
Congress can allocate financial aid, humanitarian support, or administrative resources to a specific organization or movement.
Are you hearing it? Congressmen can allocate financial aid, human rights support, or administrative rescue to a specific organization or movement. You see their job. You can get money through the congressmen. They can give you aid, but do not have power to recognize you as a country. The power of congressmen can allocate financial aid, human rights support, or administrative rescue to a specific organization or movement, not the power to recognize.
Hearings and forums. Congressional committees can invite leaders of a movement or government in exile to testify in Washington, D.C., giving the administration an international diplomatic platform.
Do you hear it? They will give you their platform for you to talk, for the world to hear from you direct. Now, listen. Congressmen committee can invite leaders of a movement or government in exile to testify in Washington, D.C., giving them administrative and international diplomatic platform. Did you hear international diplomatic recognition? They have platform that is bigger than what you have. That is why you go to them to use their platform to market or to testify that you have redeclared, you have a country, you were government in exile, you are representing your people. They will ask you for documents of all things that you have said, and you guys to present. That is how they said you to testify in Washington, D.C. That's what they are championing, that they are asking the world or the country of America to recognize this government as the authentic government of the people, that represents the people, not official recognition. They don't have the power. So, and with what USB government is putting on the table, with what USB put on the table, the world must. And why do you know the world must? If you look at, as I'm talking to you, that USB declared is in number 3. That USB declared is what? In number 3, in out of 75 government in exile that exists in this 21st century. As of this 2026, you have 75 government in exile. In that 75 government in exile, they said 40 is effective. Those that have declared their own, and those that 35 is like organization. And out of these 75 I have played in my previous broadcast, there is nothing like BGC. There's nothing like CRC. There's nothing like MASOB. There's nothing like IPOB. There's nothing like the fallback bridge of Ogenker and the layers. They are not there. Today I played the most effective 3. Those claiming they are in Washington, D.C. with congressmen. Today that I have played the 8 effective. Out of 8, they narrow it down to 5. From these 5 that I play that are most effective in exile, that are working tirelessly to achieve international recognition, and the world is proving that United States of Biafra is a number 3 of these governments in exile that are working tirelessly to achieve recognition. And they said, what is the evidence or that government in exile is working tirelessly? The evidence is that the government in exile have to issue what? Peaceful declaration. And the government in exile has to do what? Government in exile have to issue ID card to their citizens, like what USB is doing. It's only USB is issuing what? ID card to the citizens, proving that they have citizens that they're representing. It's only US government, their document is in this 21st century giving people, citizens of another country, asylum. Today, you can see very soon, the one that happened in America, I will bring the person here to come and testify to you what's the standard of the USB ID and what it stands for. They say that government in exile will be working for their citizen. What is this work that government in exile will be doing for the citizen? Their work is what? Their work is to issue ID card, resident permits, document that will serve them whenever they are in trouble in any country that want to deport them, to prove that we are government in exile. Why we are here is that the country that we are fighting for is not, they will take our life off from us. We don't have a conducive atmosphere for us to do what? For us to stay in that country. That is why so you have to protect us. And the law of the exile government did not see USB start. The law of the government in exile never see USB start, because before we come out of the 75, over 70 has already been there before we enter. We just entered 2024. Do you also know that another country in Africa declared country in France 2025 after us? That's why I said that we are not going to be the last, and we are not going to be what? The first. What we are doing is how other countries achieve their own. And what we have to do, we need to allow the world to testify and they announce the results. That's why I use the example. Nobody has write exam, mark his exam, give himself position. USB they are declared in Biafra movement. The world has to give us position, have to look at what we are doing and see if Dr. Ngozi Orabe, the DPM, another savior of our time, is doing it right with cabinet members. And with all information that has been verified, she is doing it the way that the world wants us to do for us to have Biafra as a country. I have also, in the beginning of this program, played to you countries in the world, all the other governments in the world, that their people, they are in exile and in a country where they are. Have I never do that? I'm going to do it again. USB ID card today, testimony everywhere is proving that is USB ID card is, and the USB document is the only thing that can save any Biafra that is having problem in country that he need to be deported. In Ireland, a family of husband and wife is about to deport. Immediately they get their hand into USB ID card, automatically today they are in Ireland and they grant them asylum of over 5 years. In Japan, our brother Amy, who lived before in Turkey, traveled all the way from Turkey to Japan. Japan government got him with Nigeria passport. They want to arrest, they want to deport him back. He turned around and said, no, I am a citizen of the Biafra government in exile. What happened? As the government in exile of USB sent document to him, what happened? Today, Amy has called here and testified how USB ID card and USB document has given him asylum and he remains where he is. And in the world, if you are doubting me, go and use fallback or any other thing, even IPOB, try to seek for asylum. Your name is deported back to the Nigerian government. These are truth. Anybody who is undermining the truth is wasting his time. You can see you have your I check whenever you post something here. If not the one you post before, it take you 3 minutes to write your garbage, and it take me a seconds to delete the garbage that you are writing. Can't you wipe all of them away? Just check. Do you see anyone here again? That is the truth. So when you look at what is going on, what is happening, yes, what I'm saying is lies. But let me give you a link, enter and prove that I'm lying. Not be on a blackboard face and be writing garbage in the comment section. USB ID card has been accepted all over the country in the world, whether I like it or not. Ask those who has it. And like I said, very soon, from that is Sunday or Monday, I will bring a brother in America who just got his ID card. And the word ID card helped him to secure in America. Everywhere, testimony of all the US documents making headway. And any country today, Ireland has used USB ID card to do what? To give people asylum and save them, so for deporting them. In Japan, all these things is what they call de facto recognition of a government in exile that have issued a peacefully declared. And the only government in exile the world knows is the one that issued a peaceful redeclared of a lost country. It is the only government in exile you have. And the USB redeclared today is making everything possible where we all can do it. So if you write your garbage, the punishment I'm giving to you is seconds I delete. You see? Seconds I delete. Look at it. I don't want to ban you. Today, I want you to be here until I finish the program. That is why I leave you. That is why I leave you. So you can continue writing. Once I am settled, all of you that are writing garbage, it takes me, look at it, seconds. It's out of the screen. It has disappeared and is no longer in existence.
In summary, formal recognition requires a direct diplomatic act by the president or the executive organ of a foreign state, which evaluates the legal claims presented.
I hope you are listening. That a declaration requires a direct diplomatic act by the president of the executive organ of a foreign state. President recognition only come by the announcement of a president of a country, not by congressmen. Congressmen can only do their adverts to the government. President can only present the document you send to them to the president, the real government of the country. That is just the job of the congressmen. They have never in life organized any country. They do not have such power. So I will play it now without saying a word fully. Then I will refresh your mind in a position of the most 5 awaiting government in exile for recognition.
An administration's formal declarations, charters, and foundational documents. Congress can support, fund, and advocate for a movement, but it cannot legally declare them a recognized sovereign government.
Are you hearing it? Declaration charters, characters, and a foundational document. Congressmen can support, fund, and advocate for a movement, but it cannot, look at the word, but it cannot legally declare them recognized sovereign state government. We don't have too much time to argue with your co-host who doesn't know what it takes that the Biafra should be a country. So, contracting your government, I'm waiting for you to write and I will delete.
Under United States constitutional law and international legal framework, individual members of Congress, congressmen, or Congress as a collective body, do not possess the legal power to formally recognize a foreign state, a new government, or a government in exile. The mechanics of how recognition works under the law break down into a few distinct components. 1. The exclusive power of the executive branch. In the U.S. constitutional system, The power to formally recognize foreign sovereigns and governments belongs exclusively to the President. This authority is derived primarily from Article 2, Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution, which mandates that the President shall receive ambassadors and other public ministers. This is known as the Reception Clause. The U.S. Supreme Court firmly cemented this principle in the landmark case, Zivotofsky v. Kerry, ruling that the executive branch has the sole, exclusive prerogative to determine who represents a foreign state and to recognize its territorial boundaries. Therefore, congressmen cannot bypass this. Individual members of Congress, congressional committees, or even a majority vote in both chambers cannot legally force the formal recognition of a government in exile. Charters or internal laws. While Congress can pass internal laws, resolutions, or charters expressing political support, solidarity, or establishing funding for an exiled group, these legislative acts do not constitute formal diplomatic recognition under international or U.S. law. 2. The role of declarations and foundational documents. When a government in exile or a newly emerging state seeks recognition, foundational documents, such as a declaration of statehood, a peaceful redeclaration document, an administrative charter, or a...
Do you hear them mention first the declaration document? The Dogenkere has a document. Now, under the declaration document, the constitutions, the charter, now start asking of all those things. And all of them has been packaged, kept, waiting for recognition of USB for them to prove to the world we had it all. My people, this is a bitter truth.
Constitution are critical. While these documents do not automatically grant recognition, they serve as the essential legal evidence required by international law under frameworks like the Montevideo Convention. They demonstrate that the administration has 1. A clear political will and legal claim to sovereignty. 2. A defined structure or charter, outlining how it governs its population and registry. 3. A commitment to peaceful, stable relations under international law. Without these core administrative and declarative documents, it is practically impossible for any foreign executive branch to evaluate or grant recognition, as there would be no formal legal framework or entity to recognize. 3. What Congress can do. While individual congressmen or the broader legislature cannot grant formal recognition, they frequently use their legislative and budgetary powers to heavily influence foreign policy and elevate a group's standing. Non-binding resolutions. Congress can pass resolutions expressing the sense of Congress that a specific government in exile is the legitimate representative of its people. While politically powerful, this is not legally binding recognition. The power of the purse. Congress can allocate financial aid, humanitarian support, or administrative resources to a specific organization or movement. Hearings and forums. Congressional committees can invite leaders of a movement or government in exile to testify in Washington, D.C., giving the administration an international diplomatic platform. In summary, formal recognition requires a direct diplomatic act by the President or the executive organ of a foreign state, which evaluates the legal claims presented in an administration's formal declarations, charters, and foundational documents. Congress can support, fund, and advocate for a movement, but it cannot legally declare them a recognized sovereign government.
I hope you heard it clearly, that they can never declare us a world, a country. They can only support. When they can give aid, they can contribute money, financial aid to us. This is only what they can do. They use their offices to do what? To champion what we are doing, that Biafra has been redeclared. Now, those are going to get recognition for those that are here commenting nonsense. Now, I want to play this session to us, a very important session. My question is, how many governments in exile without peacefully declared documents have congressmen helped to achieve international recognition? I ask you because of Ogenkere. No document of peacefully declared. And the congressmen only help, they only help you to lead the country. We have studied everything. They just do their own and they walked away. And he left for the president and the full government structure to organize, not by congressmen. Now, is it in this world, have this world organized anyone or any group without a document of declaration? You're not going to do that. That declaration document is nonsense. because he doesn't have it. Because Ogenkere did not have this document. Now listen to this. This program, I am only going to play it, then wait for our full time because of my time. When we're going to analyze, okay, fine. I will not play it today because it's a full program, which also need our time to analyze it properly. I hope today you have full rest of mind that what Ogenkere is doing, claiming he's doing in his future that he's snapping, is that congressmen cannot grant recognition of a country. Congressmen do not have power to grant recognition of a country. They are preachers of words, of recognition. They can only preach. They can only tell the word. That is what they are using you can only use their platform to advocate, to do what? To testify to the world that we are the one that this congressman is talking about, that we are here, we have met all the criteria, we have all the documents. What of the one without no document? That is why I said I won't do the program today because it's a very long one. If I try to do it now, it's going to, in fact, we're not going to finish it. Now, listen to this session 1 again. I want to play this again. This one, I want to play it to you. That is research. So listen to the audio voice. After peaceful declaration from government-in-exile to get international recognition, does it depend on congressmen? To get recognition, does it depend on the congressmen? After we have issued our peacefully declared of United States of Biafra, for us to achieve recognition, does it depend on congressmen? Without congressmen, can we achieve recognition? Let's find an answer. Listen to this. Now, all this research is too long, seriously. I will play it because of my time. Then tomorrow we analyze it. I hope you can bear with me. Can I play it to keep you updated a little? Then tomorrow, as normal time, normally came on live Biafran time, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, we analyze the program. Do you want me to, so that tomorrow you can also key in? Do you want me to play it right now? Or you want me to leave it till tomorrow? Because this is up to do I play it now? If you want me to play it, I want those. If I see do you say I should play it and tomorrow we analyze it fully? You just want me to give you the hint, the expo. Then by that tomorrow we analyze it and add more. We have many to give. Matter of time. That is why today, you see me, I am not blocking any fallback member. Okay. Ekwem say we should go on. Let us play it. Let us play it. Listen to this. Today, what we are doing, we are not blocking them. We are only doing what? Deleting their garbage. I don't even read the garbage they are writing. Even those they will copy and paste it 2 times. I don't read it. You see, check from when I deleted those last one last. It take him 5 minutes to write. It take me a second to delete. So keep on writing. I'll keep on deleting. Listen to this. So they just play it for them to listen.
In the history of modern international law, there are zero governments in exile without a formal legal framework or peaceful redeclaration document that have achieved full sovereign international recognition with the help of US congressmen. While members of the United States Congress frequently sponsor bills, host delegations, and advocate for marginalized or exiled political entities, international legal standards dictate that legislative advocacy alone cannot create sovereign recognition. An examination of how international law, congressional power, and administrative documentation intersect reveals the following. 1. Congressional advocacy versus executive recognition. Under the U.S. Constitution, the power to formally recognize foreign states and governments is an exclusive executive power belonging to the President and administered by the Department of State.
Are you hearing it?
What Congress can do. Congressmen
again.
can pass resolutions, approve funding, and establish legislative acts supporting exiled groups, such as the
hearing it?
Tibetan Policy
Only
and Support
support.
Act for the Central Tibetan Administration,
Now,
or
I give you an
historical
example of
resolutions
countries
supporting
that
Baltic
happened.
states during the Soviet era. The legal limit. These actions provide political visibility, economic aid, and diplomatic leverage, but they do not constitute de jure, formal, legal, international recognition of statehood. 2. The absolute necessity of legal and declaratory documents. In international law, particularly under the Montevideo Convention framework, an aspiring state or a government seeking restoration cannot gain recognition in a vacuum. It must explicitly declare its claim, administrative structure, and adherence to international norms. Historically, exiled movements that successfully transitioned to recognized governments had to rely on explicit, peaceful declarations of administrative continuity or constitutional redeclarations to establish effective control and legal legitimacy. Historical precedents illustrate how this dynamic functioned without relying solely on foreign legislative bodies. Historical group era.
If I can, this can be adjusted by me. That means I am intelligent more than you, and that's your fallback gangster where you belong. If I myself can generate this voice, if I myself can get to this level of write-off, I'm not supposed to be this country where I am today. I'm supposed to be on a very high position. Don't you understand it? If I can create this as an AI and playing it, and all this, analyzing all this kind of important thing, and the putting charters of law of America, and get mine to put American flag and their name and their congressmen. One day, that means one now. I wish I would have the brain to do this. I wish I'm the one that's when they do the research, it bears my name. And mention name of countries where it has happened. You know what it takes.
Group L basis. Legal basis. Role of external legislatures like US Congress. Outcome. World War II European governments in exile. Poland, Czechoslovakia, Norway, etc. Existing pre-occupation constitutions and formal declarations of state continuity. Provided operational bases and political declarations of solidarity. Retained recognition because their pre-existing legal documents and statehood were already universally recognized. Algerian FLNGPRA, 1950s-1960s. The 1954 Proclamation to the Algerian people, establishing a political, administrative path to sovereignty. Provided platform for diplomatic debate, but no direct legislative recognition. Achieved recognition via structural administrative capacity and subsequent referendum. Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania during Soviet occupation. Strict adherence to the legal continuity of their original 1918-1920 declarations and constitutions. Congress consistently passed resolutions refusing to recognize the Soviet annexation. Diplomatic continuity was maintained explicitly because the original legal foundation documents were never abandoned or altered. The essential rule for 21st century sovereignty. For any contemporary administrative entity or government in exile, relying on foreign politicians to grant recognition without a solid, pristine administrative foundation is legally impossible. International recognition is not a gift granted by another nation's Congress. It is a legal acknowledgement of an existing reality.
It's not a gift granted by another nation congressman. Congressman is, you see this way right now, I am championing about USV declared. That is where I believe that I am a citizen of United States of Biafra was redeclared November 2024. That is the same thing the congressman does. They champion about what you believe and what you presented to them. Not that they have the part to organize. The program is for tomorrow. We are analyzing it today. And let me tell you, the most thing that is costly in this world is, you do know how much America pays to get information? You know how much I pay to get this information? You think it's a child's play? Every 26 $200. That is what I pay. You see the way you monetize your YouTube page every month is how I monetize this page with $200 every month to get this information. And enwere ihe mmadụ ji karịa ibi ya. The only thing that I can ask questions that can trigger anything. Forget that we are here. We know the stuff made of and who we are before we dive into the Biafra movement and braid everything. Time will come when we restore when we get our recognition, then we go back to our state and they prove who we are. The time is not now. You know that this movement, enwere ihe Maazị Nnamdi Kanu na-eme mgbe nke ya, enwere ihe ọbata obi emere na nkuzi na ụdị na ụdị. Ọbata obi research gwa anyị ihe bụ government-in-exile for the first time. Except Obata Obie, Simon Ekpanjoko, have any of us had a government-in-exile before? If you have had it here, please prove. That if not, I have upon all my things I do on that research, because I believe in history. And the history is something that you must be asking questions on research. And you must be intelligent enough to ask questions. Yes, Chinyere, you are right. You must be, in fact, see, you know, sometimes thinking of research will make me, will be working and make the mistake. Because you must put the exact word on that research of what happened on that particular time before they will give you the answer. It's like textbook you read in the school. It's like the textbook you read in the school. Are you doing write the textbook? Don't read it and believe in them. Do that write the textbook, a business answer. And in that textbook, you will read and start asking questions. Sometimes you will forget to go back and read it back. This app I use to do the research is, you see, YouTube is not paying me. Every month I monetize, I pay for StreamYard for Biafrans to come. Let us talk. Chibi, I told you, that you cannot see monetize on my page. The same way I paid almost in total of $100 for me to put StreamYard for Biafrans to enter to talk. The same every 26th of every month I pay $200. Every 27 I pay $100 for me to put my StreamYard. It's only one Biafrans are helping to pay also, because I can't do it alone. So to get this information is not free. Only this information that you're hearing here every month on the app is $200. The first registration for you to get this app is $500. You know how much it is in Nigeria currency? So don't think I am not here to play. I am not here to come and debunk Raman. I don't have that time, because those things cannot stop the effort of recognition. And there's nothing you can do that those people will not exist. In time of Ojukwu, they existed. In every country in the world, saboteurs, those who are evil-minded, those who never believe in the truth, must always be. In every country, you must find better that are fighting together. You can find the Google will give you a little bit, my brother. I don't know who you are, Seth. If you're not for Simon Ekpanjoko, do any of us know what is called government-in-exile? That's my question. If you're not for Simon Ekpanjoko, did any of us know about government-in-exile? So please, let us play it and because of my time.
True sovereignty in the modern era is built from the inside out. It requires 1. A clear, public and legally binding peaceful redeclaration document establishing the framework of the state. 2. A transparent functioning administrative structure, such as identity registries, ministries and institutional policies. 3. Proven adherence to international law and peaceful diplomacy. Without a formal, peaceful redeclaration and a robust administrative architecture to back it up, foreign legislative support remains strictly symbolic and cannot achieve the status of international legal recognition.
I hope, let me play it now. I won't say a word. So listen to this carefully. Because of my time, I will just play it now. I will not say a word, Biafra. So tomorrow, we have many things to analyze tomorrow. Particularly this issue of Congress or no congressmen. We want to bury it up and for you to believe that why you are not seeing USB championing congressmen, there is a reason. Congressmen can only see what I'm doing now, championing Biafra, is what congressmen is doing. They have no power of recognition. And they give us here example. All these countries, you hear their names, they give you as an example that they never become a recognition because after they never got recognition because of congressmen after they have declared their country. I won't listen to this.
In the history of modern international law, there are zero governments in exile without a formal legal framework or peaceful redeclaration document that have achieved full sovereign international recognition with the help of US congressmen. While members of the United States Congress frequently sponsor bills, host delegations, and advocate for marginalized or exiled political entities, international legal standards dictate that legislative advocacy alone cannot create sovereign recognition. An examination of how international law, congressional power, and administrative documentation intersect reveals the following. 1. Congressional advocacy versus executive recognition. Under the US Constitution, the power to formally recognize foreign states and governments is an exclusive executive power belonging to the President and administered by the Department of State. What Congress can do. Congressmen can pass resolutions, approve funding, and establish legislative acts supporting exiled groups, such as the Tibetan Policy and Support Act for the Central Tibetan Administration, or historical resolutions supporting Baltic states during the Soviet era. The legal limit. These actions provide political visibility, economic aid, and diplomatic leverage, but they do not constitute de jure, formal, legal, international recognition of statehood. 2. The absolute necessity of legal and declaratory documents. In international law, particularly under the Montevideo Convention framework, an aspiring state, or a government seeking restoration, cannot gain recognition in a vacuum. It must explicitly declare its claim, administrative structure, and adherence to international norms. Historically, exiled movements that successfully transitioned to recognized governments had to rely on explicit, peaceful declarations of administrative continuity, or constitutional redeclarations to establish effective control and legal legitimacy. Historical precedents illustrate how this dynamic functioned without relying solely on foreign legislative bodies. Historical group era. Historical group basis. Legal basis. Role of external legislatures like US Congress. Outcome. World War II European governments in exile, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Norway, etc. Existing pre-occupation constitutions and formal declarations of state continuity. Provided operational bases and political declarations of solidarity. Retained recognition because their pre-existing legal documents and statehood were already universally recognized. Algerian FLNGPRA, 1950s-1960s. The 1954 Proclamation to the Algerian people, establishing a political, administrative path to sovereignty. Provided platform for diplomatic debate, but no direct legislative recognition. Achieved recognition via structural administrative capacity and subsequent referendum. Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania during Soviet occupation. Strict adherence to the legal continuity of their original 1918-1920 declarations and constitutions. Congress consistently passed resolutions refusing to recognize the Soviet annexation. Diplomatic continuity was maintained explicitly because the original legal foundation documents were never abandoned or altered. The essential rule for 21st century sovereignty. For any contemporary administrative entity or government in exile, relying on foreign politicians to grant recognition without a solid, pristine administrative foundation is legally impossible. International recognition is not a gift granted by another nation's Congress, it is a legal acknowledgement of an existing reality. True sovereignty in the modern era is built from the inside out. It requires 1. A clear, public, and legally binding peaceful redeclaration document establishing the framework of the state. 2. A transparent, functioning administrative structure, such as identity registries, ministries, and institutional policies. 3. Proven adherence to international law and peaceful diplomacy. Without a formal, peaceful redeclaration and a robust administrative architecture to back it up, foreign legislative support remains strictly symbolic and cannot achieve the status of international legal recognition.
I hope you had it. Tomorrow, like I said, there will be no link today. Tomorrow we will fully handle this program properly, like what we normally do on our page here. Then I want to close by a program to let you to know that you must support USB. Today is fundraising. Go and support USB. Out of the 75 exile government in the world, as I'm talking to you today, being June 2026, June 7, USB has climbed to number 3 that are working very effectively to achieve international recognition of Biafra as a country. That is what we all need to know perfectly. And the world has break it down to the up to 6. They say that This 6 is the most effective one. In that 6, United States of Biafra being declared by Tonzo Arabeze, November 29, 2024, is in number 3 as the only government in exile for entire what name Biafra. Please go, and this government is doing their own. Bring your support. Bring your support. Fund your government. Fund your country to move on. Fund your country to do what? To move on. USB redeclared, as I'm talking to you right now, is in number 3 in the world. Out of the 6, the most, as the word said, out of 75, that 6 is the most effective 6 that is working seriously to achieve recognition for the people for their people of their country. So on that note, you don't need to look around. In that 75, there is no MASOB, there is no BGC, there is no CRC, there is no fallback video again. It's not there. The only name appears for Biafra movement is Dr. Ngozi Orabueze government as the deputy prime minister, or as who issued the redeclared of the lost country. The continuity of Biafra was lost. She is the only one. There is no other one. Now, listen to the names that the world will bring out as the only government in exile, the most effective 6 that we have. Listen to this.
To understand the historical and modern landscape of governments in exile, GIEs, that operate strictly through peaceful declarations or redeclarations, relying entirely on diplomacy, civic infrastructure, and international law, it helps to look at how these organizations have evolved. Historically, most exile governments resulted from military occupations, like the European governments fleeing to London during World War II, or armed liberation struggles. However, the 21st century model has shifted toward what political scientists call administrative or digital sovereignty. These groups actively avoid armed conflict, using formal documentation and civic registries to prove their capability to govern, while aggressively lobbying foreign states and international bodies for recognition. The details of the history, the specific leadership figures involved, and the current breakdown of active, non-violent exile administrations working toward international recognition are detailed below. The history of peaceful declarations and redeclarations. In the context of international relations, a peaceful declaration or redeclaration is a legal instrument used to establish or renew a claim to statehood without deploying military force. These documents are explicitly drafted to align with the Montevideo Convention on the Rights and Duties of States, which requires 4 criteria: a permanent population, a defined territory, a government, and the capacity to enter into relations with other states. When a territory is occupied, or an administration is pushed into exile, a redeclaration serves to bridge the historical legitimacy of the past with the modern administrative reality of the present, signaling to the international community that the mandate of the people remains unbroken. Key active 21st century peaceful GIEs, their leaders and documents. When focusing on functional, structured entities that actively issue administrative documentation, maintain civil registries, and operate transparently from host nations, there are 6 prominent examples globally. Name of government administration: Pempert Sering, Sikyong President. United States of Biafra USB, United States of Biafra USB, Pempert Sering, Sikyong President. Leadership Council, Administration CTA.
Network attack has come on the page. I want you to hear is that USB redeclared is in number 3 in the world. Out of this, they said, you had it here, heavily most effective 6 this time around. USB redeclared is in number 3. USB redeclared is what? In number 3. That's you to see how this movement is going and what government is doing. Let's try it again.
Focusing strictly on entities in the 21st century that operate with a peaceful declaration, redeclaration, or formal founding document, reject military insurgency, and are actively headquartered in host countries while lobbying for international recognition, the primary active organizations include the following: active peaceful governments in exile and alternative administrations. Name of government/administration. Primary foundational document. Core host country, where they reside/operate. Central Tibetan Administration, CTA. Charter of the Tibetans in Exile, bases its platform on the middle way approach for peaceful autonomy. India, headquartered in Dharamshala, with representative Tibet bureaus across the US, UK, and Europe. United States of Biafra, USB, parallel Biafran administrative bodies. Peaceful Redeclaration Document, formally declared on November 29, 2024, explicitly rejecting armed conflict in favor of 21st century international law. Distributed, Western Europe and North America, operating primarily across safe diplomatic corridors, including Sweden and the United States. Rada of the Belarusian Democratic Republic, BNR Rada, constitutional charters of 1918, maintained and modernized via civic declarations as a peaceful democratic alternative to the current regime. Canada and United States, presidency and leadership operate primarily out of North America, company existing with newer civic cabinets in Lithuania and Poland. National Unity Government of Myanmar, NUGOG, Federal Democracy Charter, ratified in 2021 by democratically elected lawmakers to peacefully restore constitutional order. Distributed, United States and Australia, maintains formal, non-military representative offices in Washington, D.C., Canberra, and select European capitals. East Turkestan Government in Exile, ETGE, formal declaration of exile and founding charter, established in 2004, explicitly mandating peaceful political advocacy under international law. United States, based primarily in Washington, D.C., Provisional Government of Kabylia, Anavad, Declaration of the Provisional Government of Kabylia, formed in 2010, pursuing a peaceful right to self-determination. France, operating safely out of Paris via diaspora networks. Key takeaways on host country dynamics. Democratic safe havens. Peaceful governments in exile almost exclusively base their operations in countries that respect freedom of speech, assembly, and international advocacy, predominantly the United States, Canada, India, and member states of the European Union. Legal protections. Host nations permit these administrations to operate civil registries, draft policy blueprints, and manage diplomatic public relations, provided they adhere strictly to peaceful political processes and do not violate local or international security laws.
Please, all of my time, we are going to end it here. Until you come back tomorrow, we are going to do a very thorough analysis from tomorrow into all these programs. Please, today is our fundraising. Support US declared your own country. Support your own country. Fund this government. They are number 3. When you have a child that is sent to school that out of 75, she or he is in 3rd position, is he not doing well? Is not doing well. It's not a child's play. Tomorrow I will do the program. I will allow this research to be played on the screen. I will normally do it so you can also read that from the screen. Please support US declare. Today's fundraising. Go and fund your government. Number 3 out of 75. Number 3 that's working effectively for us to achieve international recognition is what we're talking about here. For us to achieve it, please support your government, fund your government. From me, from here, have a nice day until we see you again tomorrow. Please, all of my time. Like and share. Anytime you watch this program, please turn off the notification button, like, share the program so others to hear what US government is doing and others to know that the only government you have is United States of the government is the only government in exile, that the world will know out of 75. There is no Genkere fallback bridge. There is no MASOB. There is no CRC. There is no BGC. There is nothing like IPOB organization. Thank you so much. We move.